How are you? Pat, thank you so very much for giving us all your time. Such an honor for me to host you in one of my live conversations. So, guys, welcome to each one of you all. And I'm so honored to have Pat with us, who is the Beers Group Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Government Relations. And Pat is going to be talking to us about DPS Group and about the wonderful Botswana diamond story. And talking a little about DPS Group, of course, we all know that DPS Group was established in the year 1888, and it's a world leading diamond company that expertises in diamond exploration, diamond mining, and diamond marketing. And super honored to have Pat, who will talk to us about the incredible story of Botswana.
Manu, it's so great to be with you. We've come a long way. We've been talking about this for a long time.
Yes,
And I wanted to say congratulations to you for
thank
the
you.
following. Clearly, people love what you talk about and what you expose them to. And we're very appreciative to be with you today. It means a
Thank
lot.
you. So before we begin and hear about the incredible story from you, let's hear
Yes.
about your diamond story.
Oh my goodness. My diamond story. I always tell people that the way people see Botswana today and the Botswana that I grew up in was, my family were part of the old families that were in Botswana when we were cattle country.
Okay,
And what that meant was that that's all we had was
right.
cattle.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did have though was the richness of our culture, and our culture was all about people. And sometimes these things are meant to happen the way they happen. So
Mm-hmm.
people were more important than anything else in Botswana.
Right,
And so it created real values of celebrating because effectively we were, predominantly an arid desert environment.
mm-hmm.
So the appreciation of life and human
Right,
being was so important. And diamonds came after. Diamonds were discovered, that value was there. But the one thing that I grew up with was with very little.
really.
We didn't have television. You were able to walk from one end of the capital to the other. Um, you had the basic things of life, but that was all you needed.
Right.
And diamonds changed all of that for Botswana. What it meant was when diamonds were discovered, because you've created this value of the importance of people, the focus from our founding fathers, including the president's father and others, was to invest back in the people. Every
Right.
single diamond
Mm-hmm.
meant, how do we give our children a better life?
Mm-hmm.
So the whole focus was, okay, we found something of value to the outside. Can
Mm-hmm.
we use it of value to the inside? And
Beautiful.
and as a result of that, we were able to go to school for free, go to the
Mm-hmm.
best schools in the world. There was a scholarship program where you decided where what you were going to study. The most important thing was to pass. You had to
Right.
get the right grades in order to get into a school overseas. So doctors, pilots, teachers, professors, engineers, every aspect of running a mine and a mining town and
Mm-hmm.
beyond was a result of that. So because of that value of the importance of life, the
Right.
investment was put back into the people. So as a result of that, the whole focus was um, for the betterment of life so
Right.
that we could have a better life than our parents did.
How's
So
lovely.
I'm a generation of many. There are
Mm-hmm.
thousands of us who were fortunate enough to benefit from the journey of the diamond story.
Right, that's so beautiful. And talking about people, I would like to add, though it was my first time in your country last year, but I felt as if I've known everybody since generation because each and every person that I came into contact with, they were so warm and so helpful and so passionate towards each and every work that they were doing. So I guess the passion is there within each and every single individual of Botswana.
Well, I wish we were a utopia, but we're not. Like every community, we
Right,
have our challenges. There's some
of
really good
course.
things, but there
Mm-hmm.
are also some very challenging things.
Of course.
We're a small nation, so we are, we tend to be very intrinsic in our
Mm-hmm.
thinking and
Mm-hmm.
protective because we're
Right,
small.
right.
And our younger people are starting to feel like, no, there's a whole world out there,
Of
particularly
course.
with this virtual environment that we're living in,
Mhm.
and are
Right,
starting to venture out a lot
right.
more. So there are some challenges. There's a lot we
Mm-hmm.
could do to improve, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that's a major focus. I do believe we've been moving in that direction, and more so
Right.
now with our current president. But as a result of COVID, a lot got stopped. But I will say
Yes.
this: COVID proved how important life is in Botswana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you look at our COVID numbers
Mm-hmm.
compared to other countries
Mm-hmm.
around us, the government has really focused on preservation of life of its
Right.
people, you know. So yes, we continue to love our people more than anything, and try and provide. The government has done an incredible job, and
Mm-hmm.
I think the partnership with companies like the one I'm from,
Right. Yes.
De Beers,
Mm-hmm.
have a culture of um, camaraderie, respect,
Right.
collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
and we see that with ourselves as De Beers in Botswana, but also the other producing countries that we're in, without a
Right.
doubt.
Right. When you mentioned that you're a small country, I would just like to add small country, but with a very big heart. So that's what people from Botswana are. And secondly, when you said that, it's been a challenging year, but of course, like you shared with me yesterday, every challenge brings with it a wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. And what is amazing is that you know, out of adversity, if you think about where the country was, I
Right.
think we're kind of used to adversity. Adversity from, being an arid environment,
Right.
being a small player. And remember, at one point, Botswana was surrounded by war.
Right.
South Africa was the apartheid system.
Mm-hmm.
Angola was at war. Mozambique was at war. Zimbabwe was at war. And there was this little country that was at peace. And basically, we were surrounded by a lot of conflict. So we became like a hub for
Mm-hmm.
safety for a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only reason why we created a defense force, because we didn't have
Right.
one before.
Right.
We suddenly realized that it was important not to create an army, but to protect its
Right.
people and protect those who came in.
Right.
So, and I think that with in the partnership with De Beers, because I think it's important to talk about how diamonds have impacted.
Yes.
It's I think it's a benchmark of success. It's not often that you have a conglomerate that has a passion for where it is. Can I put
Mm-hmm.
it that way?
Yes.
So I know that it's seen as like the big De Beers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I can tell you that the people who I work with, and I say this
Right.
as a patriot of Botswana and also as an employee, are really focused on what difference can we make beyond what we do. And why is that important? Is it because we're good natured? Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Well.
But more importantly, it's because we're selling something that
Right.
needs to demonstrate its impact.
Mm-hmm.
We're selling something that needs to demonstrate love.
How sweet. Yes.
And you can't you can't just love the materialism of the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love what all that it means.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yes, we're all female. We love its beauty and its glitter. But I think what brings heart and heart is when you know where it's coming from and the
Mm-hmm.
impact it makes. And as a
Right.
company, we're constantly trying to push that to show what we're doing in that space. So we're not just talking the talk, we're
Yes.
investing
Mm-hmm.
heavily
Mm-hmm.
in Botswana, in South Africa, in Namibia, in Canada, where we actually focus on production. So to your point, Renu, is it unusual? I don't think it's unusual. I think we've just decided that it is critical for our success.
Absolutely.
Because if I speak to you, especially as a woman, and as women we're maternal, and I say to you that the diamond you're buying is not just the value of that diamond. Let me tell you what that diamond does. Is a different conversation from, let me tell you the facets and let me tell you the value of that diamond. As it is, it's worth. But
Right.
when you look beyond its aesthetic worth
Mm-hmm.
and you see the impact that it has on women,
Mm-hmm.
on youth, on welfare, on what is it? Just general existence of human beings, the welfare of people. You suddenly say, I think I want to buy that diamond because of that reason. As a woman, those are the things that are important to us, right?
Right.
So I think that just increases the value of what we market, and it's also um, what is the word I'm looking for? It's such a great partnership when you can sell the country and you can
Mm-hmm.
also sell the company, you know, and the company with all the whole value chain within the,
Mm-hmm.
the company. That sweet spot means so
Right.
much. It's almost like the heart, right? It's the
Right.
center,
Absolutely.
and that's what we try and do. Not easy. It's
It's
not
not easy.
easy.
Of course. Of course. I'm
But
sure about that.
absolutely, and it means that first of all, that the partnership with the country is so important, and Botswana has that value. And then De Beers is very focused on the value of
Value.
building beyond just our diamond industry, but building forever for the countries we're in.
Right. Absolutely. So my next question to you is that what makes Botswana different from other producing countries with the DBS group?
I can only speak to De Beers. I'm not. um, I can speak as someone who is um, I come from an organization that has a lot of history, you
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
some of it challenging and and a lot of it good. Most
Mm-hmm.
recently, I would say in the period of, the last 20, 30 years, De Beers is an incredible place. And what it has done for women,
Mm-hmm.
focusing on gender parity, focusing on the plight of women in our producing countries, particularly most recently with gender based violence. We've all been
Right.
affected. There
Mm-hmm.
isn't a country in the world where gender based violence hasn't increased as a result of
Mm-hmm.
COVID. Um, you know, in a significantly male environment, to have
Mm-hmm.
men care about what happens to the women is it's refreshing, you know.
Absolutely. Yes.
Not to say that there's a complete understanding, but that there's an acceptance that we have to address this
Mm-hmm.
because every man comes from a woman. Okay,
Yes.
so if and that's the one thing about our company, starting with the champion, which is the CEO, who
Mm-hmm.
really believes in how do we address this issue and do the
Mm-hmm.
best we can to contribute towards it. Then I think the second thing for me is understanding what is the mandate of the government in each of our producing countries. What
Right.
does what does Botswana want to achieve? What is the most important thing to Botswana? What is the most important thing to South Africa, to
Mm-hmm.
Namibia, to Canada, where we are? If you think in Botswana, it's about our youth. We have a significant young population. And here's the interesting thing, a significant educated young
Lovely.
population,
Right.
because education's been free.
Free. Lovely.
So if I'm educated, my ambition is to be able to have a middle class existence,
Right.
at the
Mm-hmm.
least.
Mm-hmm.
So as your population grows and you have this young population of educated young people, you've
Right.
got to create opportunities for them.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Absolutely.
got to create opportunities in business, in careers. Not easy to do. The vision may be right, but what affects you is the economic environment that we live in,
Right.
because you don't
Mm-hmm.
live in a bubble, right? If you think about it, COVID, with the greatest intentions, has forced every single country to reset. You've had to stop.
Yes.
No matter what you were planning, you've had to stop.
Had to stop. Yes.
And in
Absolutely.
stopping, you've had to figure out, how am I going to continue to address in Botswana our young
Mm-hmm.
people?
Mm-hmm.
And there've been some amazing things that we've worked together with. Entrepreneurship development is one of our primary objectives, because it's about diversity and job creation. And the thinking with government and with De Beers is that if we create entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, one company can hire 5 people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2 people, maybe
Mm-hmm.
one person.
Mm-hmm.
That's one person less without an income. So the job of Diamonds has to be able to create a base of young entrepreneurs so they can hire more people. So we've invested heavily in the Stanford Seed Transformation Program. It's not a cheap program by any means. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of money for the company, but what it has done for our producing countries is help to upscale a smaller company to become a medium sized. And as soon as a smaller company becomes a medium sized, they hire more people.
Right.
And the multiple factor of hiring one person in Botswana impacts 10 people.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I have an extended family,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a relatively strong breadwinner,
Mm-hmm.
I support other extended members of my family, and so on and so on. So you can see that multiple
The
factor.
ripple effect. Right.
Absolutely. So entrepreneurship amongst our young people, that 18 to 35, is so important. Then we've talked about women is another.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think the community is really important. At the end of the day, when you sell a diamond to a millennial today,
Mm-hmm.
a consumer millennial wants to know, where is it coming from?
Yes.
What are the practices?
Mm-hmm.
What is the human factor?
Mm-hmm.
And how do the people live where it comes from?
Absolutely. Yes. Traceability is very important.
Absolutely. So provenance is something that we can speak to with pride, because our mines are 98% run by Botswana. I
Mm-hmm.
always say that it would be great for Botswana to export its mining capability to other countries, because we have a lot of knowledge. And secondly, our value chain is really focused on skills development in technology, innovation, the industry as a whole. So there's a lot of opportunity that wasn't there before when we were, when De Beers was focused on us being, Botswana being a producer. Now the whole focus is on collaboration.
Nice.
And bringing on board the rest of the ecosystem, introducing it to Botswana and our other producing countries, and creating development within the different ecosystems. So it's quite exciting from that perspective.
It is.
And it means Botswana are doing things that we could only wish we were participating in, and now we are actually part of that.
Part of that. That's so lovely. So since you spoke about the reset, since you used the word reset, my next question to you, can you highlight about the recently launched reset campaign, which we have been seeing online?
It's a fantastic campaign that's being run at group level. Kobe, who is running it with her team, I just think it's a great opportunity of, we had designers come to Botswana as well to see. We like to be an open book.
Yes.
Because I think, here's the thing about diamonds, sometimes people think that Africa is a country
Yeah.
as opposed to a continent. So every country is different. But in Botswana, we love to bring people and to see how our mines are run. We love them to walk around the city and see how the bottom of the pyramid lives, and walk into a clinic and realize that everything is for free.
Lovely.
To go into a public school, go on your own and check out and see what you see.
Absolutely.
And so we had a few of these designers come to Botswana, and it's wonderful for them to be part of the whole reset campaign in design, what that means, and participating. And for us, that's all about provenance. It's all about giving significant value to where that diamond is from.
Right.
Which I think is a unique selling position for us as Botswana.
Yes.
There are a lot of diamond countries, but I must say that I really believe that Botswana, in partnership with De Beers, is the benchmark.
It is the benchmark.
And that's what everybody should aspire to. And because
Totally.
if everybody does that, then it feels good about buying diamonds, regardless of where they come from. You don't question where they come from.
Yes.
That best practices and upliftment of livelihood is foremost in the focus of the owners and the producers and the companies that go into these diamond countries. Yeah.
Right. So talking about schools, I would just like to highlight that when I visited the Uruppa mine, I was amazed to see children of the miners were getting free education in the mine. So that itself is so incredible. There are a huge number of students. So it's so commendable to have each and every small baby of the mining family to be a part of the school and to get free education.
Yeah. I think there's two things. I still say it comes back to the history of human being of value. And I think in India, you have that same thing, how important family is, and having what I call traditions.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Honestly speaking, a tradition is to keep people together.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Right? It's all about stability and keeping people having common values. Right?
Yes.
And as a result of that, the common value was every single diamond needs to go into the people. So it's hard for me sometimes when you're sitting with people and they see Africa as a country and say, well, there's child abuse and what I consider to be it's a challenge because not everybody has had the opportunity Botswana has, and a lot of countries are trying to fix how they work, within the diamond industry, their best practices, and the image that they have. But it's a very difficult, and it takes time.
It's
And
a
at the
long
end of the day,
journey.
it's a long journey. With Botswana, we're able to say it now. So, but the future is important as well. So we have to, people say to us, a lot of people say, why isn't Botswana, bigger and more developed? And you guys are diamond country. So why are you not, like other countries in Africa? And I go, you're right. We may not have the infrastructure, but I can tell you, my child goes to school for free.
Right.
I can tell you, I can walk in right now and get the best medical care for COVID. So we may not have the highways.
Right.
We may not have the skyscrapers.
Right.
We may not have the massive houses.
Right.
Because the discrepancy between rich and poor is not that significant in Botswana. We're very much, I think you can count how many people are ultra wealthy on your hand. Everybody else, the biggest belt is middle class, and then you have your lower middle class at the bottom of the pyramid. That, to me, I like that. I feel much better coming from
comfortable.
A country, that says, you know what, there's certain priorities we need to have. Yes, we want the highways. Yes, we want to be the skyscrapers. But is that where we need to be right now? Should we not focus on development of the people first?
Right.
And at the end of the day, everything else will follow. And what is interesting about COVID is that all of a sudden life is more important than materialistic things.
Absolutely, yes.
And the materialistic things have to be authentic things, like diamonds, right? So all of a sudden the importance of having something that is real versus something that is synthetic suddenly has significant value. So of course I'm a big diamond lover.
We all are big diamond lover.
My love for diamonds is two things. It's emotional and spiritual.
How lovely.
Because it's God made, not man made.
It's God made. Yes,
it's God made.
Right.
And it's taken years and years and years and years and years to make that. That to me means that is something so special to own. The diamond I have, I treasure it for that reason. But then the second part of it is, look at its brilliance from natural made. How does that work? How does that work? How does it become so beautiful through extremity? Yeah. And how authentic it is.
Right.
So I think that for me, the value of diamonds is increasing, is definitely increasing as a result of what's the word I'm looking for? Of the preciousness of natural. Because of COVID, I actually think that the value of diamonds is very special right now.
It is. And there's so much inspiration that one can learn from diamonds, especially during this challenging time, because they're strong, they're resilient, they always rise up and inspire us that no matter how harsh the situation will be, but you will always come up shining. So that's another very beautiful aspect about diamonds.
Absolutely.
Lovely.
To your point, Renu, I mean, when I look at your Instagram page, it's just it's not an Instagram page. It's a story of love, and you are extremely passionate. But you bring that spirituality and that genuineness of when
How
you're
sweet.
I just love what you do, because it's not like, look at this beautiful jewelry piece. You bring the story of where that jewelry comes from,
Mm-hmm.
which that's the interesting about diamonds. They have incredible stories to tell.
Yes, they do have. And now I want to know about your Shining Light Awards. It's also
Yes.
been recently launched. And let's see about all the wonderful things that you're doing for the youth.
Oh, I love Shining Lights. So this was started 20 years ago, and it started in South Africa. The whole idea of it was really at the beginning just to celebrate diamond jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very much a fashion, be as a creative as you want to be, and look at different ways to
Mm-hmm.
make jewelry. So there were some amazing things. Some people would make them as like stomach bracelets and chokers and
Right,
headdress, just some huge, gregarious, beautiful, extravagant pieces. But what
right.
was happening, because they used so many diamonds, which were on loan,
Mm-hmm.
that at the end, those
Okay.
pieces were ripped apart. And um, when I was given the opportunity to drive Shining Lights,
Mm-hmm.
um, my biggest concern is, are we teaching young people how to become business people
Right.
in the diamond industry?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody wears those gregarious pieces. They're torn apart. Not
Right.
even the red carpet would you see some of those pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the royal family, perhaps, but that's because there's a museum of incredible jewelry, right? So we decided that we needed to move away from just normal design to teach, to have the competition,
Mm-hmm.
which is harder to do. You still need to do a storyboard
Right.
of whatever the theme was,
Mm-hmm.
but create commercial pieces and show your technical capability
Mm-hmm.
so that you could be then awarded not a check, but the opportunity to go to one of the best polytechnics in the world, which is in
Mm-hmm.
Milan, which
Mm-hmm.
is ranked the number 5 in the world
Mm-hmm.
for jewelry design,
Mm-hmm.
and increase not only your skill of design, but the business of jewelry design.
How beautiful
So
is that?
yeah, so thank you. So we decided that it was worth the investment to find the best of the best in each of our producing countries. So there's a first winner in Botswana, first winner in South Africa, first winner in
Lovely.
Namibia and Canada. Those 4 get to go to do a postgraduate program um, at the Milan Polytechnic, all expenses paid. Then the second prize in each country, identifying a second winner,
Mm-hmm.
was more for artisanship, to
Okay.
learn how to actually produce and
Mm-hmm.
to go to a reputable college where you
Mm-hmm.
actually learn and work with artisans to produce. So we think that it's our way of making our producing partners get into the downstream of the business. And as a result of that, things are starting to evolve into amazing things. So
Mm-hmm.
my hope is that one day we'll be able to have our designers work with designers from India.
How
My
lovely.
hope
Yes.
is that, wouldn't that be great?
It will be
For our,
wonderful.
yeah. and and imagine all that cultural element, Africa and India and where they come from. It's a great
Right.
opportunity to
Yes.
work together. And at the end of the day, women, regardless from where we are from, we love beautiful things.
We love beautiful things. Yes.
And we love diamonds.
Right. Absolutely. Talking about women, next question to you is that in the male-dominated industry, we would love to hear your words of encouragement to women who may wish to pursue a career in this beautiful industry of ours.
I think it's when I started, it was predominantly male. I
Hmm.
won't tell you
Right.
how old I am. Okay.
You are young by heart. I know that for the fact. You are so young by heart.
So, but it's come so far. If there
It
was
has.
ever a time for women to join the industry, is now.
Right. It's now. Mm-hmm.
I think there's such opportunity within the whole ecosystem, and
Right.
women are, the McKinsey report that was written a few years ago. We run this program called the W Summit, which is
Yes.
a conference that we hold for women in
Mm-hmm.
leadership and business. And the first year we ran it, we had a partner from McKinsey come and present their report on
Mm-hmm.
how women impact
Mm-hmm.
a business. And I'm sure you have sat, Renu, in a meeting where you're around men
Yes.
and you're looking at things this way,
Yeah.
and for some reason, all the men around you are looking at it this way, and you're going,
Right.
we can do this a little bit differently. But because we're a minority, and sometimes, we've been too scared to say anything because all the men seem to be going this way. We
Right.
don't.
We
And
don't.
yet, we're multitaskers. We are multidimensional. We are
Mm-hmm.
made that way as women.
Mm-hmm.
And we're we also have a high threshold for pain.
Yes.
For any woman, we have a high threshold for pain. So we're able to bring so much value
For
to a
sure.
business.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing. Anybody who's in the diamond industry works for a woman.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you are producing, whether you're a miner, whether you're a wholesaler, whether you're a designer, whether you're in the retail,
Right.
you're working for women.
For women. Yes. Yes.
Majority. So if there was ever a time to have women in the industry, is now.
It's now.
And I think our champion, I know I'm bragging about Bruce Cleaver because he gets it.
He
He
gets it.
really
He's
does get it. He's a
incredible. Mm.
big champion for women,
Yes.
and is very clear about making sure that we meet the targets of having women in leadership and middle management in every aspect of our
Right.
business, which is great. But at the end of the day, every man is working for a woman.
Yes. So
You're in the
beautifully
diamond
said.
industry.
Yes.
Unless you're doing watches and maybe, but at the end of the day,
It's all about women,
it's
diamonds and
all
women.
about women.
Absolutely. Since you mentioned about the Women's Summit, I'm very familiar about the entire Diamond Week being virtual this year. So we would love to hear more about your virtual Impact Diamond Week, which just got completed last week. And I know you were really busy, winding up things, organizing things, but being a part of it, it was so inspiring, so informative, and so educative.
Thank you. Thank you. And the hardest thing I will ever do is virtual.
Yeah, right?
um, there are some really good things about it, and then there's some things that you miss. And Paul Rowley, our EVP for diamond trading, said it. He said, I miss being around people. These conferences are not just meant to be about the topic.
Hmm.
They're also about having tea, like you met the
Connecting.
president
Yes,
when you went to JCK,
yes,
right? It's somebody you wanted to meet and you just happened to be sitting next to him and
right,
having a conversation. That's part of what conferencing is about.
right.
And it's also about getting different perspectives where you can have somebody from India, somebody from Botswana, somebody from Namibia, South Africa, Angola, China, America, all in one place.
All in one place, yes.
And you all have one objective.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about diamond trading.
Mm-hmm.
So you miss that when you're doing it virtually,
Absolutely, yes.
And even though you can see the numbers of people watching you, you're not
But
in touch with
yeah,
them.
yes, totally.
And it's kind of, if you think about it, that's the diamond industry is very tactical. You
Yeah,
have
it
to
is.
see it,
Feel it.
feel it, put it on, and really relate to it
Yes,
from that perspective. You need to
yes.
fall in love with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. To your point, it really is. It's something that needs to be felt.
Yes.
So doing the virtual conference was great because we were able to reach more people who
To
couldn't come.
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I have to say there's something. We are human beings,
Mm-hmm.
and God has made us to be social
Mm-hmm.
beings. You know,
Right.
we're not ants in a military line. We are feeling, touching people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I think the future, honestly, is hybrid, where if I can't go to the conference, at least I can watch parts of it. But
Right.
you're missing something by
You're
not
missing
being there.
something. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fully.
Technology is difficult.
Technology can get difficult. Oh, yes. Talk about it. It can get difficult. I do recall you sharing a small little experience where you had some really technical challenge during the virtual impact week, which was very impactful, which could have been very impactful rather.
Well, I think it was lessons learned about
Yes.
what can be done with technology and the importance of making sure that even if you have the best technology and the best systems, it can always hiccup. And
It can
and it's
always pick up.
funny, I've sat in technology organizations like Stanford, number one, and where the presentation something went wrong, you're going,
Right.
but I'm in the world of tech.
Yeah, you can't do
I'm in
much.
the University of Tech, and
Right.
so things can go wrong.
Right. And we are almost close to 1 hour's time. The conversation with you can go on and on because we all love listening to you. And there was a compliment from Cindy who said that's such a beautiful spokesperson. And that I will agree 100% from the core of my heart because you are a wonderful spokesperson. And
Uh-huh.
before we wind up, I would like to know that in the world of new normal, what can you say is the role of social media in telling a natural diamond story?
Oh, social media is so amazing at the moment. It's explosive at the moment, right?
Right.
Because one, we're isolated,
Right.
and it seems like we're going through another wave, so we're even more isolated. So I think we went through a couple of phases. We went through a phase of, okay, I'm going to use technology to talk to people. And then we used digital to relate to people because we were by ourselves. And then we realized that, oh my God, this is not going away. This is not here today, gone tomorrow. So we suddenly realized that we need technology to relate. And I think what's happened to, whatever medium you use
Mm-hmm.
is that you now need to speak more authentically. If you watch a lot of the stuff that's coming out, it's becoming very real. It's gone from
Mm-hmm.
that superficial
Oh, yes.
stuff that we saw to, you know, um, people. It's about meaning. It's about things that affect you. It's about things that make you happy. Finding the right price on things. It's about
Right.
authenticity. It's
Mm-hmm.
changing because it's now become your friend. Because we're living in this world where, yes, the injections are coming. We'll never go back to the way we were.
Yes.
But I do believe that it'll be dynamic. And what I'm seeing now is much more authentic communication
Mm-hmm.
and a relationship with the person. Like this, people want to talk to each other now. It's not just swipe, 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 swipe. It's like let me get what do you call those filters, right?
Yeah.
And show myself in a different light. Now it's
Right.
like,
Right.
let me tell you who I am. And you're
So true.
seeing in celebrities who are taking you into their homes wearing
Right.
pajamas, and when they get up in the morning, all of a sudden people want to show you that they're real people
The real
and that they
people.
have real lives. Not to say we don't want to be dressed up and everything, but we also want to show that we're human beings. And I think that's so we reset ourselves because we were going in a different way. Now we've had to pull back
Mm-hmm.
and reset.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're human beings first. We all were born the same way. We all live in a certain way, and we all die the same way.
Right.
So I think that we're all connected now as a result of the virtual world, which is a
Right.
good thing, and that there's commonality that we're just human beings.
And I just
Yeah.
want to add one thing since you mentioned that we all have to be true. So one thing, which I have realized is that audience understands everything. You cannot fake it to your audience. What's there inside your heart
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
projected through your words, will be projected through your action. So the whole social media, I know, like as we very beautifully said, people have become more real. People have become more genuine because they cannot fake it to anybody.
Yes.
What people talk, what people say, because the energy transfers, and that's exactly how the energy will be going on from me to the other person. And the person will know like this, whether she's lying or whether she's talking something
Yeah.
else or she's meaning something else, is just so fast. So,
It's so
yes,
fast. We're
right.
able to see through people very quickly now.
Very, very, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And talking about moving fast, the time is also moving very fast, Pat. But
Yes.
trust
Yes.
me, I can go on and on, hearing your wonderful words because each word has a meaning to it. And thank you to you, to Nicole, to Z, to the entire team who's helped me put this wonderful chat together. I have been
Thank
trying
you.
very hard, and I'm so grateful to the entire DBS group for giving me this wonderful opportunity once again. And once the whole vaccine is out, I'm looking forward to take a flight and come to Botswana.
Yes, and I will come to you. We have
Oh
to
yeah,
we have to
we
do this
have to.
process.
Yes, I'm looking
But
forward to
please come.
welcoming you. Yes, for
Yes.
sure, Pat. And we will
And
have an
bring some
incredible
of your
time.
followers with you. Bring them with
They
you.
all are always with me, Pat. They all are always with me, in my heart. So
Great.
wherever I go, they all come along with me. So
That's
thank you
fantastic.
so much, Pat and
Thank
Nicole
you.
and
Thank
Z and
you. Thank
everybody.
you.
And I will see you soon. Bye, Pat.
Thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.